we've now finished our diagrams that we're going to use really for we're going to use the same diagram for monopolistic competition, oligopoly, monopoly, and so on. Yeah, so our core diagram, as we said, is something along these lines. In the long run, in monopolistic competition, you can only make normal profit, but in the short run, you might be able to make more. And where there are barriers to entry, then you might be able to make abnormal profit in the long term. So this is your base diagram. This is a firm operating where MC equals MR. In this case, it has abnormal profits and so on. What are our possible scenarios? So in reality, we need to be able to use these diagrams flexibly. What is unacceptable is just learning the thing like it's a picture. So how do we? What things could happen to a business? And really, there are only three things that can happen. Either one of its revenue goes up or down, its variable costs go up or down, and its fixed costs go up or down. And what I want to do is to look at each of those in turn. So scenario number one, let's look at an increase in demand. Obviously, a decrease in demand will be the reverse, but let's say what happens. So an increase in demand, then what's going to happen, of course, is guess what? The demand, is this the dodgy pen? Is that demand is going to shift to the right to D2, and AR2 is going to go with it. But at the same time, of course, MR depends on AR. So MR is twice as steep as AR. So MR is going to go to MR2 like that. So what changes? Well, so remember, it's a two-step process. Step one is the marginal stage, or the output stage. MR has changed to MR2, so the profit maximizing output has changed. The profit maximizing output is now here at Q2 because we want to produce all the units where marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, and there are more units now than there used to be. But because demand is higher, the price that the firm is going to charge is also going to be higher. So at Q2, the equilibrium price is here at P2. And the last thing we have to do is to find average costs. In this example, average costs have actually come down. The firm's making better use of its current scale. Costs have fallen to C2, and therefore abnormal profits have risen. Originally, at the original output, they were that level, but here the increase in demand has led to greater output at a higher price, and therefore abnormal profits are now the large green area. A reduction in demand would therefore just be the other way around. We'd go from green to black. We'd have started at Q2 and gone back to Q1. Fine. So let's think about our cost scenarios. We said there are two possible cost scenarios. Let's take the easier of the cost scenarios first of all. Let's suppose that there is a change. Let's look at an increase in fixed costs. So fixed costs are simple. We know that a firm's average total cost is made up of average variable cost, average fixed cost. So obviously if fixed costs go up, the firm's average cost is going to go up. But we also know that marginal cost is the cost of an extra unit, the extra cost of the extra unit. Fixed costs don't affect that. A change in your rent doesn't affect the plastic or the amount of time it takes to make this pen. So this is the easiest one because the only thing it affects is average cost. So let's see how that plays out on the diagram. Again, let's suppose we got a firm that's making initially abnormal profits. There's average cost, there's marginal cost. Step one, we find where the output at which MC equals MR. Then at that output, we then find the price P1 and the cost C1. Firm has initially abnormal profit. But then its fixed cost go up. Doesn't affect marginal cost because that's the cost of actually making the thing. Doesn't affect demand. Nothing's happened to consumers. There's no shift in demand at least. And as a result, what's going to happen? AC rises like that to AC2. So all that's now happened is that nothing's happened to the profit maximizing output because nothing's happened to MC and nothing's happened to MR. Therefore, all that's happened costs have gone up, and therefore abnormal profit is now only the green area, rather than the original black area. So again, a decrease in cost would take us the other way. So a decrease in fixed costs, start at C2, come back down to C1. And the last one then, obviously you could get, in a lot of the questions, you're asked to do more than these, or several of them all at the same time, which makes things messy. But the last thing then, you could have asked is a change in variable costs. I'm going to do an increase. But obviously decrease is just the reverse. In this case, what's going to happen is marginal cost is going to go up. So we're talking about an increase in the cost of plastic or something. The cost of making the extra pen goes up, and therefore, of course, the average cost overall of making the pen is going to rise as well. So both average and marginal costs are going to rise. So again, we're going to start with our base diagram. There's DAR. MR is twice as steep. There's average cost. Marginal cost going through the minimum point of the average cost curve. Two-step process. Step one, the marginal step, we find where MC equals MR. Then at that step, we then say what is the firm's price and average revenue? What is the firm's cost per unit? C1. What we're now saying though, so that's our original abnormal profit. What we're now saying is that costs are going up. So average cost is rising. So let's have a decent increase in average cost. Marginal cost is rising, but it still go through the minimum point of the new average cost curve. They're in the way. Let's get rid of those. So now, again, because marginal cost has changed, our profit maximizing output is going to change. The firm produces where MC equals MR. MC is now here. So it's going to be at Q2. It only wants to make the units where the extra revenue is greater than the extra cost. It doesn't want to go past there. At that output, price is higher than it used to be. So price is at P2. But in this example that I've drawn, costs have gone up so high that costs are now higher than price. Average cost is higher than average revenue. So this firm is now making a loss. Having previously been making a profit of the black shady area, it's now making a loss. So in summary, if you've got a change in, demand, so a change in demand, that causes AR and MR, they both change. Either they both go up or they both go down. So a change in fixed costs, that changes average cost only. And finally, a change in variable cost, that changes both MC and AC, both going in the same direction. So here, an increase in demand means they both go up. A decrease in demand means they both go down. Likewise here, an increase in variable costs, marginal average costs both go up, and a decrease in variable costs means that marginal average costs both go down.